Today I'm breaking down how any guy can instantly become more attractive. And these are all things that I know firsthand because I'm still just the average guy. But what I've learned is this is not about having the top 1% genetics or having any surgeries. However, these days I am the most confident that I've ever felt. I finally feel more comfortable with my own skin. I feel like my hair has been looking its best. So let's go over exactly how to do that. And of course, step number one is going to be the foundation. These are going to be the basics that are saving you from being chopped, which sounds so funny to say, but in all honesty, no one's really ugly by default. But there are a few mistakes that guys are making without even realizing it that is just hurting their potential. Simple things like skincare, making sure you do your hair, trimming up your nails. It's all pretty basic stuff. So let's start off with skincare because this is something that most guys still overcomplicate. And I totally get it because I've watched plenty of skincare videos, which honestly just left me way more confused than when I actually started. All you need is a cleanser and a moisturizer. Use this morning and night, and it might take some time to see results, but eventually you're gonna notice that your skin will clear up. And don't be too discouraged if you don't have glass skin. That's another thing that people hype up way too much. Just keep in mind, all the videos that you're seeing with people who have glass skin, they're in peak lighting, they just applied something to their face, so it's kind of looking the best out of the entire day. So it's really worth mentioning that you're not going to walk around all day with perfectly clear skin. But there is a noticeable difference of somebody who takes care of their skin rather than somebody who still just uses water every morning. Okay, now let's move on into your hairstyle. This is quite literally the makeup for men because it could dramatically change the way you look. And a big mistake that a lot of guys are making is not using what they already have, especially younger guys, because you don't really know what to do with your hair just yet. For example, when I first started getting more into hairstyles, I really wanted that curly look. So I bought a bunch of products that were made specifically for curly hair. And because I don't have curly hair, I actually have wavy hair, my hair never looked good. And even if it did, it was never consistent. It would always look different every single day. So the main things that you should start switching is, for one, cut your hair for a specific hairstyle. From there, it's gonna be so much easier to shape the hair however it needs to go. From here, buy hair products that are going to define that hairstyle. For example, right now, all I'm really using is sea salt spray and light pomade. And because I have my hair routine down, it literally only takes me 5 minutes to get perfect hair. Especially the more you do it, the more you're never gonna have to worry about your hair again. So now let's move on to shaving, because this is another thing that guys don't manage and it really holds back your looks. Whatever facial hairstyle you decide to go for, make sure you maintain that. And this is by far the most tedious thing because facial hair grows back really fast, and even after a couple days, it could start to look unmanaged very quickly. And unmanaged facial hair, sometimes it's not gonna make you look chopped, but it is going to make you look unmanaged, almost like you don't care about your appearance. And there is just something about appearing more managed. Almost like you take yourself more serious, not because you care about what others think, but it's almost just a form of actually respecting yourself, which I know sounds really corny, but I think that is a natural reason why guys have charisma. They just respect themselves, and caring about your appearance is definitely one of those things. All right, now some underrated things that you could do to pretty much instantly improve your look. First thing is going to be keeping up with your eyebrows. Now, I luckily have pretty full and thick eyebrows naturally, but surprisingly, this makes a huge difference. In fact, here's an AI photo of me with thinner eyebrows and how I look naturally. And sure, they could be a little bit better, but I also know it could be worse. So if you have naturally thin eyebrows, try to do something about it. And you really only have two options. Number one is something like a men pen. This is just going to make your facial hair or eyebrows a little bit more thicker and darker, so that way there's a better contrast on your face. Now, in my opinion, that's a little bit too much maintenance, especially because that's just an extra thing to do every day. For me, I want this entire process to be as low effort as possible. So you could experiment with something like minoxidil on your eyebrows. That is naturally going to grow more hair, but of course, just be sure not to get that into your unibrow because obviously that doesn't really look good either. Okay, now let's move on into oral hygiene. White teeth just look so much cleaner. And again, it's just an easy way to have a little bit more charisma because a nice smile really does go such a long way. You're just gonna seem more friendly and more inviting. People are gonna like to talk to you more. So get some products to whiten your teeth. I still heavily swear by Crest whitening strips, but if you want something that's not as harsh, there are some more natural things to use, maybe something like baking soda. I actually have had that work in the past. Next thing you can start doing is trimming up your fingernails. Now, this is not necessarily gonna make you more attractive, but having dirty fingernails will in fact make you less attractive. And this is something that I always get flamed on in my comments. These days, I am keeping better care of this. this, but that does bring up a really good point that a lot of these things are just built into your routines. Like I said, you're not ugly, you just don't know what to do yet. And now that you're getting an idea of certain things that are gonna make you more attractive, try to build an entire routine around this. That way, you're never caught lacking. Because I, on the other hand, I would always just wait until things became unmanaged. For example, my fingernails. But by the time you realize it, a lot of times it's going to be too late because you are already going to be out the door and you're going to think, damn, my fingernails can really use a trim up. So instead of waiting for that to happen, what you could do instead is just once or twice a week, set some time to follow these routines. Whether it's once a week cutting your fingernails, once every other week using some whitening strips, or every other day shaving your face. That way, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, you will always look more attractive. Okay, now let's talk about style. This is by far my favorite thing when it comes to becoming more attractive because it really doesn't take any extra effort. Now, there might be some things that you could buy, but for the most part, you actually don't have to spend money. A lot of times you probably have good pieces in your wardrobe already, and buying new clothes doesn't mean you're gonna start dressing better because if you're anything like most guys, you just don't know how to style what you have. So my best recommendation is look through your wardrobe, see what pieces you already like, and then find some style inspiration for that specific piece. Say for example, it's just a simple white t-shirt. You can go on Pinterest or TikTok and just search up men's white t-shirt outfits, and you are going to get some good inspiration. And once you have that down, start getting rid of the pieces that you don't wear. Instead of just throwing them out, just list them online so you can get a little bit of extra cash, and then you could use that to buy new clothes. So if you want some inspiration on what to buy, here are some wardrobe upgrades that I recommend. First one being are straight leg jeans. I think these are the most versatile jeans that you could pick up because they are going to go with anything. The silhouette makes it easy to style, especially for your footwear. Whether you're wearing boots or sneakers, they both look good with straight jeans. Now, I like mine to be more on the slimmer side, so I like the 90s straight jeans from Abercrombie. They're not too baggy, nor are they too slim. Next thing you could buy are something like chinos, especially if you're trying to go for a more mature vibe. Some would say a more old money look. Chinos are not going to be too far out of your comfort zone, but they do look just a little bit more sophisticated, especially in lighter colors. I just got these in a cream color. I bought it for only like 40 bucks from Banana Republic. Gotta tell you, they have some steals. And in case you're interested in anything, that is going to be linked down below. Now, if you're ready to take a big jump, if you want to try something new for pants, buy yourself some trousers. It might feel like you're doing too much, but I promise you that is in your own head, and I borderline guarantee you, you will get compliments with something like trousers. Now for some tops, right now, just stick to the basics. Buy some simple t-shirts, but in a better fit. Most t-shirts are not doing anything for your silhouette. In fact, they're either making you look more heavier, or if they're completely devouring you, you are going to look like a stick. That doesn't look good, so get some shirts that complement your physique. Now this doesn't mean skin tight shirts, but it does mean tighter in the right areas. Like these from Again, they're tight on the shoulders, a little bit slimmer on the chest, and because it has a natural crop, it actually makes me look a little bit taller, which is great because I'm only 5'8", so I could take all the help that I can get. But that does bring me into a really good point on you want clothes to complement what you already have going for you. Since I have a pretty athletic build, I have broad shoulders, pretty decent chest, not to glaze myself too much, but I like to wear clothing that kind of reveals that. But since I am shorter, I don't want things to make me look even more short. So clothes that help elongate my legs and make my torso look more proportionate, that is always something that I look forward to. But on the opposite side, if you're a little bit on the heavier set, don't buy too tight clothing. There are some pieces that will look good on you, but whatever I'm recommending might not be exactly that. But since I mentioned my physique, that is actually the next thing that is going to make you more attractive. It's pretty much an objective fact that lean is very attractive because that muscular build or having vascularity on your forearms, all these things are just attractive. I'm not saying that you're ugly if you're not lean, but any guy would look so much better if they have a leaner and more muscular physique. So start hitting the gym. This doesn't have to be your entire life, but going to the gym 3 to 4 times a week is actually more than enough. You will start to build muscle. You should start to lose fat, especially paired with a good diet, which we will talk about later on. But yeah, again, you don't want to overcomplicate this. Just make this a routine and you are effortlessly going to start to become more attractive. In case you're wondering what I do, I just follow a simple push-pull legs routine. I hit the gym 4 times a week and I run about twice a week as well. So we can't talk about the gym without talking about our diet because this is the next thing that is going to make you more attractive. Because let's take a step back. Most guys, their diet is so cooked. Highly processed foods, they're either overeating or undereating, and it's really holding them back, especially the processed foods part, because that is also wrecking your skin. It's also making you more inflamed and making you bloated. All these things are holding back how you look. My skin started to really clear up whenever I cut out processed foods and I stuck to more simple ingredients. especially when I started drinking even more water as well. That's also not to say that I'm a complete organic everything guy. I still enjoy my occasional burgers, but it's all about moderation. Majority of the week, I'm cooking my own food, making sure it's healthy, but whenever I'm out with friends, I'm for sure going to enjoy the time. I'm going to enjoy my meal, because I really can't stress the fact that becoming more attractive, getting leaner, all this stuff shouldn't be your entire life. You still got to enjoy things, and I most definitely have to say you will enjoy life a lot more when you start to feel confident in your own skin, in your personal style, and just the way you look in general. Right now, I'm eating low calories, high protein. That's literally all I focus on. So that means a lot of beef, chicken, fish. I absolutely love things like salmon, and I do eat carbs. I don't care that my body doesn't need it. I've had a lot of people in my comments try to tell me things about not eating carbs. From my own experience and actually trying things out, not eating carbs just destroyed how I felt throughout the entire day. And as long as they come from a good carb source like sweet potatoes or even healthy pastas, I feel a lot more energetic throughout the day. I don't feel sluggish. I don't feel groggy. So I think it's worth keeping in my own diet. It doesn't mean you have to eat carbs. It's all about experimenting to see what works best for you. Okay, now I want to talk about money. Although money isn't directly making you more attractive, lots of guys like to think that having more money means they're going to get more girls, people are going to be drawn to them more. And while there is some truth behind that, I do got to say, if you're using money to try to attract people, it's going to attract the wrong kind of person. But since taking care of your finances will definitely make you more confident, especially having things like a nice watch or just walking around with a nicer outfit, it makes me kind of feel like Bruce Wayne. So I think that's kind of cool. So I definitely make sure to stay on top of my money, stay on top of my finances. Right now I use Monarch Money to budget, make sure I don't overspend. And in case you're interested to learn about personal finance, I actually recently just created a small program to help you really understand personal finance that is going to be linked in the description. Okay, next thing is going to be smelling good. This is another thing that is objectively making you more attractive, especially certain scent profiles. This is going to completely change your vibe. If you're going for a more dark and masculine scent profile, again, you are going to feel like Bruce Wayne. So I like ones like Hugo Boss Bottled Beyond, or I recently got Arm Off 9 PM. I love this one. This one makes me feel like I'm walking the streets of New York being an absolute stud. I'm gonna leave the notes for this one on screen, but if you're going for a more laid back, chill vibe, right now I really like Lattafa Sheriff. This one is very old money, but very clean, very fresh. I think any guy can pull off a fragrance like this one, and because this one is a dupe fragrance, it's only like 30 bucks. So definitely at least worth checking out. All right, another thing I want to talk about that is definitely making you a little bit more ugly is always looking tired. First of all, the bags underneath your eyes, that's holding you back. And then second, no matter where you go, you're always gonna look like you just don't want to be there. And that's gonna make people not want to talk to you, and it's really hard to come off as charismatic. So first of all, just get more sleep. Make sure you're not lacking on any vitamins or minerals, because that will make you more tired and it will disrupt your sleep as well. For example, taking something like magnesium will improve your sleep, so I recommend at least starting off there. All right, this next one is definitely specific to the summer because that's the season we're getting into, but getting tan will make you more attractive. It's also going to make your physique look better as well. There's a reason why bodybuilders always get tan before stepping on stage. That's going to make your insertions look better. It's going to make you look leaner, and you really don't have to do much. So right now I'm actually trying to catch more sun, whether it's just going on a walk or just sitting out and sunbathing. It's surprisingly very helpful. Now, of course, you want to make sure that you don't burn yourself, so get yourself a good SPF, and you definitely can still tan while using an SPF. I want to make that clear. And like I mentioned, since we're getting into the summer, if you want to see a video about summer hygiene essentials, then make sure to watch this one right here.